Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are here for another episode of More to Life Weekly. I'm talking to you today with the assistance of, I've got some new friends to show you today. We've got Pluto and Luna here, and then this is Marley. Marley doesn't love to be held, but I just thought I would introduce you. He's my first bunny that I ever got. I've got 3 of them. So last week you met Clover, and oh my goodness. Okay, little Marley. Marley's gonna go because Marley doesn't love to be held, but here he is. Hi, everybody. Cute boy. All right, so we will continue with just the accompaniment of the birds. Hi, I'm Monica Bellier, your friendly neighborhood sparkle coach. Sparkles! Covered in bunny hair now too. So I am going to talk to you guys today about a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I really needed this lesson. So we're talking about how to get in the zone and off your phone, okay? I know it's just not me. I know it's you guys too. We all are just like on our phones way too much these days, right? Especially during the pandemic, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, on the phone a lot. We're like chatting. No, we're not chatting. We are staring and we are scrolling, right? So spending too much time on your phone, how does it make you feel? If you're like me and if you get stuck in like the black pit of, or dark black hole, the black hole of like internet scrolling, time goes by so fast, right? You can just like lose hours and suddenly just like pop your head up back into reality and you're like, oh my gosh, where did I just go for like 2 hours or whatever? And unfortunately, the feeling that you are probably getting, I'm guessing, if you're like me, is you feel really lethargic after that like zoned in kind of brain numbing, mindless time, just scrolling the internet. Very lethargic and also feeling guilty about wasting all that time. There's a lot of guilt surrounding how much time we spend on our phones, but we keep doing anyways, right? It's phone addiction, right? I think this is a really huge issue facing a lot of people these days, especially during the pandemic when there's not a lot to do sometimes and we're really just kind of like killing time, right? So let's think about a time. I always like you guys to try to remember a time when you recently had this kind of a situation come up where you've just kind of lost hours of your day to social media or whatever it might be that you're looking at. My boyfriend's into the Reddit. He gets stuck there a lot. It's whatever it is for you. Like we probably all have our go-to internet places that we just kind of scroll. So think about the last time you did this, and for most of us it's probably like, oh, this morning or last night, right? It's probably not too long ago. And I just want you to think about what that feeling is when you kind of like, both when you get into it, just kind of like, it's probably even quite mindless, like when you actually start it. It's like this automatic, just like habit. You just pick up your phone and you just start, like often sometimes what happens with me is like, I'll be going into like, I don't know, like check my bank balance. And then before I know it, it's been like 20 minutes and I'm on Facebook or whatever. And I forgot to even like go into my bank account. So think about what it feels like for you when you get kind of lost in those phone black holes, okay? And we're gonna try today to give you guys some tips to change this behavior. And it's not easy, you guys. If you're really, if it's a really habitual thing for you, like it has been for me, it's not the easiest thing to change, but you can. If you identify that it is an issue in your life, just by that identifying, by being aware that that is an issue for you, you're gonna be able to start making little steps to changing that behavior. Okay, so our 3 points today, I'm gonna get right into it. We are gonna the first thing we're gonna try to figure out, and this is kind of what I've been talking about in my my social media this past week. What do we replace this phone behavior with? Trying to get into the flow with something that's a healthier behavior. Okay, so I know you guys have probably all heard this before, like what's your in the zone activity, like the kind of thing that you like to do that just, you lose track of time You feel very content. And the difference here, this is the big difference, the in the zone activity versus the mindless, numbing, like scrolling on your phone. There's a difference. The difference is when you come out of an in the zone or flow state activity, you feel really good. Okay, you feel really content, you feel really relaxed, you feel like your brain has been like recharged. It's a really great feeling. Okay, so I'm sure you can think of something that helps you get into that state, right? For me, it's art. I do art and I get very, like, same thing happens like with my phone. I can lose myself for a long time, but I feel good afterwards and I've got something beautiful in front of me to show for it, right? Another thing I really love to do is gardening. I can pull weeds for hours, like literally. I know it sounds weird, but I just get into the zone and my mind just goes completely blank and I'm just like, I'm at one with the dandelions, you guys. And reading, like I love to read and I haven't done that as much as I used to. So that's another habit I'm trying to transition back into as well. So the first thing to do is figure out something you can do. And this should be something that's easy, that's at hand, right? Like I don't necessarily feel like this is like going for a run, right? Because if you've got 10 minutes and you're scrolling your phone, you're not just going to like replace it with going for a run because you've got 10 minutes. Like this is something like have an art project nearby or a book that you can pick up if you've got 10 minutes that you would have normally been scrolling your phone, something like that. Okay. So you're going to figure out what your activity might be. And then step 2 is learning how to identify when you're stuck in the trance of scrolling. Okay. And this is a big one because it's hard to catch ourselves once we're in it or even if we're about to start it. So this one is kind of probably going to be the trickiest part of the process, is noticing when you have gotten into that trance state of scrolling for no reason, right? It's one thing if you're picking up the phone to, like, you know, say you need to, like I mentioned before, you need to check your bank balance, or maybe you want to scroll social media for a while, that's fine. But like, it's kind of, once you get past the point where you're like, you know, you've been on Facebook, you've checked all your notifications and your likes and you know what I mean? And suddenly it just starts to be like, you're not even really there for any reason anymore. It's just, you're like wasting time. Your mind is just stuck in that loop of like scrolling. Okay. So starting to identify once that you kind of cross that boundary and, realizing that that's what you're doing and that you are committed to shifting into a kind of healthier flow state activity. All right. And then step 3 is actually making the shift. All right. And because this is a, you know, highly habitualized behavior, like it's pathways in your brain that have been created that keep you scrolling on your phone. Also, the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram are designed to keep you addicted to your feed. Okay, so actually making the shift, I want you to try to do this at least once a day. Okay, if you can do this once a day, you are doing amazing. So even just once a day that you can commit to at first, of consciously making the shift away from your phone and onto the new activity that makes you, and I want you to notice how it makes you feel in comparison. How does the flow state activity make you feel as compared to spending the same amount of time on your phone? So start with once a day. So I think that's a really reasonable thing to start with, like even just once a day. If that's a win, that is a total win. If once a day you realize you're in that phone trance and you put it down and you switch to another activity, start with once a day. And if you can do that for even like a week, you know, you're building your new pathways in your brain. These neural pathways are forming, yes, hello, that are going to help you make the transition easier and easier as time goes on. So, you know, like maybe after a week, you could try transitioning twice a day, and then it starts to become less challenging for your brain to make that shift. All right. So, if you guys have any questions about this process, please just feel free to ask in the comments. And I'd love to help you out too if this is something that's really specifically an issue for you and you're struggling to make that shift. So you can go onto my website, seedsofjoylifecoaching.com, and on there's a very easy to find booking link that you can just click into and schedule a free 30-minute intro session with me. And I would love to chat with you about if this is something you'd be interested in working a little bit more on. Okay. So just to recap, we're going to recap our 3 little steps. We're going to try to sort of brainstorm maybe a few different flow state activities that might be easy for you to have on hand so that it's easily available for you to transition to off of your phone. Okay. And then step 2, we're going to learn to identify when you're stuck in that phone trance state. Okay. So you're going to start to actively notice what's going on. And then step 3, you are going to commit to making the shift between activities, screen and flow state activity, at least once a day for maybe like a week or so, and then you can start to see if you can get a little bit further away. Oh, and we've got Clover. Hello, Clover has joined us up here on the couch, my giant bunny with his giant feet. And yeah, it's a zoo in here, you guys. Thank you for joining me today. We will be back next Thursday, of course, at 11:30. Next week's topic is feelings are friends, even the bad ones. Okay, so we're gonna, you'll see that as the theme in my social media coming up this week, and I'm excited to get more into that with you next Thursday. Okay, so have a wonderful day. We will see you next week. Bye, everybody.